Retirement in 2025 at the age of 60 is not the same as your parents retiring or even those people that retired 10 years ago. The rules have changed, the risks have shifted, and the opportunities, they're pretty darn exciting. I'm going to talk about those in today's video. So what makes 2025 different? Let's be honest, this is not normal. Okay, what's happening right now? We've gotten inflation that has cooled, but man, it's spiked up to like 9%. And, those prices are staying. The increase is slowing, but those prices have changed. So your purchasing power is different. Look at housing for one. Markets are at all-time highs, but man, you got this nemesis out there, that I think of is the national debt and deficit spending. I don't know how that's going to play out. Technology in the form of AI and robotics and blockchain, man, they're set to drive rapid change. I use Grok and ChatGPT daily, and I can see them dramatically impacting the economy and the efficiency of any business. It's going to make a lot of job changes. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose in that? Healthcare costs are climbing. Innovation is going crazy. Life expectancy is going up, especially if you follow some basic best practices like not smoking, exercising, getting good sleep, and do the preventative checks. I retired at 54, and I may be retired for 40 years, only working 32. That's sobering, shocking, something like that. That means retiring in 2025 doesn't mean, hey, you just need to get this number. And that's popular YouTube videos are, hey, you get $1 million and retire, or get 500,000 and retire with Social Security, or 2 million. What's your number? That's the wrong approach. And I've made a lot of videos on that. You need to build in my opinion, flexibility and adaptability. You need to be able to adapt and trust your ability to adapt. You've done great so far if you're 60. When you're retiring before age 67, which is considered full retirement age, also you should expect to have a lot of energy, a lot of drive, a lot of passion to make an impact and help. Maybe it's just one person, or help your subdivision, or help your church. That need for fulfillment and meaning is strong. And I think almost everybody I talk to has it. So I want to talk about that a little bit. So for me, I'm thinking the word retirement in 2025 is actually morphing into a definition closer to financial freedom. I used to think retirement, like I said, was just getting the number, but now I think it's having the ability to choose what I do every day. It's control over my time. It's waking up and deciding what to do and who I want to do it with. Okay. For me, when I was, I looked in the mirror 6.5 years ago, and I was spending half of my time in meetings, half of my time doing corporate bureaucratic things that I didn't enjoy, and half of it I loved. I loved the coaching and mentoring of people. And I just decided I'm tired of wasting half my time. Okay. Time for everybody will eventually become your most valuable asset. You want to spend it in a meeting or going on a walk with your spouse. Another one, this is going to be controversial. You may want to get paid to do something you love. And that's not failure. You don't have to stop working when you retire. That may sound crazy, but you may want to leave that 50-hour-a-week, high stress, half your time's wasted kind of job and find something that lights you up. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you're a woodworker. Maybe you're a gardener, and you want to sell vegetables on the street corner. Turn that into income. That extra cash, really, for most of the people I talk to, is not to pad their budget. It's to do something rewarding and maybe create a little gravy for life. Maybe a Midwest term. Gravy means like something extra that's not required. Maybe you can fly first class on an airplane now that you're making a little money where you planned on just flying coach. Okay. So many people, and I talk to a lot, I interact with hundreds every week. Many people just start off their retirement by working in their current job as a consultant, at 16, 20 hours a week. And their skills are greatly appreciated, but they can't stand the bureaucracy. So they don't have to go to meetings. They don't have to go to all the HR training. They just offer their skills. There's not the calls on the weekend, in the middle of the night, and on evenings and holidays. My plant, when I was working, was filled with people with 25, 30, even 40 years of experience. And now you find 20, 30, 40 months of experience at this manufacturing plant. They desperately need technical wisdom, and you can do that. And you leave all the corporate stuff behind and keep what you love about your job. And you may want to do that for 1, 2, 5 years. How many years earlier can you retire if you do go to part-time? You may be able to retire 2 years earlier and work 4 years part-time. Make sense? I'm telling you, easily over 50% of the people I talk to, through comments and emails and talking live with me, they're getting paid for something in retirement. At least 50%. I think it's the new retirement. And I don't think it's because they didn't save enough money. They've got other agendas like fulfillment, passing on their wisdom to the next generation, doing something engaging. Anyway, for me, part-time really wasn't an option. And I really think that's because of my personality. I was always 120%. But like I said earlier, I loved coaching and developing, mentoring people. So that's what I retired to. I was doing reliability and maintenance consulting. That was my global expertise. And I enjoyed doing that. But now I kind of have some rules. I like to work, 0 to 8 hours a week. I like it to be extremely flexible. I like it to be meaningful. The money is a byproduct. I'm a capitalist. People are going to throw money at me. I'll take it. But it's not the objective here. YouTube fits this perfectly. I make between 0 and 4 videos a week. I invest between 30 and 90 minutes per video. That's everything. You may notice I never edit. I just upload these. I create a template to talk from in 10, 15 minutes. I make a 15-minute video. I upload it, create a thumbnail, 60 minutes all the time. Sometimes I can do them as little as 30 minutes. My format helps, which it's just 2 people talking. And I love that format. I enjoy that format. I get connections with people from that format. And it's my natural style, just walking through life. I love connecting with people. And if I have some experience that helps them, I want to pass that on. So YouTube has just been a great fit for me. When I was doing reliability and maintenance consulting, I had to travel 1 week a month. And that kind of got in the way of my fun. YouTube lets me make videos. Like when it's a 95-degree day, I may make 3 videos in one afternoon. Starting a business is what a lot of folks are doing in retirement. It's what I did. You don't have to think big. You can, sell something on Etsy. You can do some woodworking or some crafts. You can offer consulting on Zoom. I turn down a lot of consulting and mentoring that people want to pay me for, just because it's overwhelming, the number of requests that I get, and that interrupts my retirement. So I don't do that. If you could figure out a way to limit that, go for it. Retirement coaching is overwhelming, the need there. People want to pay somebody to talk to. It's just overwhelming to me. I enjoy the flexibility of making these videos, and I do reach more people. One of my friends, he's an umpire for kids sports. Another one makes soap. He enjoys making soap. Another one is a consultant in reliability and maintenance. So you choose what you want to do and what you enjoy. They're not doing it to get rich. They're not doing it to make money. It's nice to make money. Like I said, it's the gravy on life. But they really want to just stay engaged and give wisdom. And that may sound foreign to you if you're working, but if you're retired, I'm telling you, it makes a lot of sense. Lifestyle design before finances. This next section, many people flip this. They're looking, and I was part of the problem here. I guess I thought a lot about what I wanted to retire to. I wanted to travel. I wanted to spend more time on fitness, eating right. I also wanted to consult in reliability and maintenance, pass on that wisdom that I've learned, and by doing it wrong a bunch of times and finally learning what makes things work well. But so many people they search for a number. I want to have $1 million. I want to have $2 million. And then at the day they retire, they say, what am I going to do now? Well, you really need to flip that. It's like, what are you going to be doing in your retirement? You got to start with expenses. What are your expenses? And are you going to make some income along the way? And income, like I said, you can change that 50-hour work week with a lot of stress and wasting a lot of time and turn that into some part-time work, and you may be able to retire just a little bit earlier. But it all starts with knowing your expenses in retirement. So with that, let's talk money. Can't talk about retirement without talking about money. They're hand in hand. In the past, many people had pensions. The Bureau of Labor Statistics and Boston College data said that around 25 to 30% of the people that retire in 2025, so a quarter, they'll have some kind of pension. Maybe it's not huge. Some are big. It's a lot of government sector jobs still have a pension with them, but it's only about a quarter of the people. So 3 out of 4 don't. So you're not alone without a pension, but that definitely changes things, because you got to depend more on the market and returns. Where do you put your money? How do you prevent sequence of return risk? All that. I've got a bunch of videos on that. Next thing I want to talk about here is the 4% rule. I hear this so much. The 4% rule is a rule of thumb. Don't forget the of thumb. It's a rule. It's really old school. It was based on, I think it was 30 years that ended in 1994. So I guess 64 to 94. And the world's just completely different than it was back then. It was based on a 50-50 portfolio of fixed and like an S&P 500. And it was the worst case. It was the worst case. Most of the cases, you ended up with a lot more money and you could have spent a lot more money. Today in 2025, folks, we got software. We got software to model and to stress test reality. You can put in, different rates of return, different inflations. You can stress test it. You can run Monte Carlo simulations of that. You can put in one-time expenses. All these are life. One time, you use the 4% rule. If you want to buy a car one year, what do you not eat the next year? Or how do you balance that out? There are software models out there, and I use Boldin. I make videos on that, demonstrating that. It's great. If you want a free 2 weeks, look at the link. It's $144 a year. And if you're a DIYer, it's a freaking steal for the power that you have, the coaching that they provide. They have AI help. So when you type in a question in the help session, AI answers it for you. I did that several times on my last video. I didn't know where to input a change, and it just popped up and said, here's where you do it at. They also have training sessions every week. It's unbelievable for the price. Even if you have a financial advisor on your team, I like having Boldin because it makes the conversations different with the financial advisor. I can challenge them, challenge their thinking, and they have to work a lot harder to impress me when I walk in with a lot of knowledge about taxes, rates of return, sequence of return risk, how I'm going to protect myself against that. Boldin is my retirement plan. Check that out. Okay, my personal journey, when I stepped away from my corporate job in 2019, I thought money was going to be the hardest part of that. It was actually one of the easiest. I make a lot of videos on finances and retirement. I spend a lot more time talking to you about money than I work on my own. I don't make many changes at all. And right now, I only look at my finances and deeply look at them about once every 6 months. I was every quarter, and now I'm doing it every 6 months. So I just don't think about it a lot. I've tried a lot of new things in retirement. I kept some, dropped some others. And that's what I love about retirement. It's kind of like a buffet. I started off consulting in reliability and maintenance. I did that for a couple years and stopped. I was making YouTube videos on reliability and maintenance. Check my old videos. I got a couple hundred out there on reliability and maintenance. I was just giving it away, wasn't making any money. I didn't make any money on YouTube for 3.5 years. I wrote a book on reliability and maintenance. I still travel, spend time with family. We volunteer. I work for Habitat, painting houses. I volunteer at the high school, teaching life skills. I'm working on, just talking to the kids about lifelong learning, leadership, and lean best practices. So also, talk at a university. None of these things I get paid for. Retirement, yeah, is that buffet, and you can, get a sample of something and choose, you don't like it, and move on. My retirement is different today, 6.5 years later, than it was when I started. So here's my challenge for you, closing out. Write down your why for retirement. What's going to get you out of bed when you retire? Okay, and you're 60 years old, you still got energy, still got a gift to give to the world. What's going to get you out of bed? Where are you going to spend your time? What will make you happy the next 20 or 30 years? Is it going to be sitting on the couch? Is it going to? Probably not. Probably not. I'll just say I hope not. But that's you. You do you. A mindset change that really what I'm looking for, just to make you think a little bit, is making money in retirement doesn't mean you're a failure. 50% of the people are doing something like that. And the people aren't doing it for the money. Some are doing it so they can retire earlier, get rid of the 50-hour work week. But so many of them are doing it just for fulfillment. The people, and there's some trolls out there. I'm talking to you. Some of you, not 1% of you, not 99%. They say, hey, you're still working because you're making YouTube videos. Okay, I'm working 4 hours a week, doing something I love that's completely flexible, that I did for 3.5 years for free. They're just making judgments based on poor information, projecting onto you their beliefs, and it comes from a lack of experience. So get past it. If you want to work, start a career, doing something you love, start a business, doing something you love, you do you. Okay, you do you. So, hey, if you're serious about retiring in 2025, check out my videos. I'm probably at 830 videos or something like that. All but about 200, 250 of those are on retirement. And I talk about all things in my retirement life, decisions I've made and why. Not trying to be right or even prescriptive of what you need to do, but lessons I learned to help you perhaps retire 1 to 2 to 3 years earlier than you thought was possible. Just got an email today from somebody that retired 3 years earlier because they listened to my content. I love that. Keep those notes coming. It's Joe out.